Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Halloween.
You better use that voice.
Hey, I'm just here. Halloween.
Yes, please.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dead Talk, where we do a deep dive into the anthology series, The Dead of Night. We're here for the final episode, Porcelain, talking with Jimmy Willden, who's the director, on Halloween.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Are you scared yet?
No.
Okay.
So, Jimmy, I've known you for like close to 20 years, I think.
You were my boss for a little while. A
little bit.
It's awkward now. But.
So, I don't feel like I have to ask this because, I mean, I probably already know, but maybe the viewers don't know. How'd you get involved with this project?
In Dead of Night?
Mm-hmm.
Technically through Jake. I've known Jacob for years, but we've never really worked together, really hung out together. But Jake Gonzalez kind of did a lot of networking behind the scenes once Jacob and Jake started talking about wanting to do this project. And Jake reached out to me and said, would you be interested? And I was really in like elementary school. I enjoyed watching horror movies, and I had all these horror movie ideas, but I fell away that love, and I got into more like indie dramas and stuff, and that was always the kind of movies I made. So
some of them are very sad.
Yeah. It's my forte. And but then being asked like, do you want to do a horror movie? I'm like, you know what? Yes, because that's always been a thing of mine. Like every movie that I do, I want to challenge myself to do something I've never done before. To do a horror movie, it's exciting.
And yours is very disturbing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean that in the best way possible.
I took it as a compliment.
Thank you. But yeah, yours, like, how does it feel to close out the series, the anthology series?
I didn't know that mine was going to be closed out. I also didn't know that it was coming out on Halloween until we sat down. I mean, legitimately, like, I'm really. Oh, it's out. It came out today. So yeah, happy Halloween. But like to have this movie come out on Halloween, and I'm glad that you told me that your wife found it disturbing.
Yes, very much so.
And I'm glad that people find it disturbing. You know, I when I wrote it, I'm like, I don't even think this is scary. You know, it has dolls in it, but in general, and which I guess scares some people. But I didn't know how people are going to react to it, so I'm glad that it's getting that reaction. Yeah,
and a lot of that also comes from the location, the main location that y'all shot at.
The house.
The house, it feels lived in. It feels like whoever lives there actually has a collection of porcelain dolls.
That's Jane's house.
Okay.
House, yeah.
So Jane DeHaas pops up in this.
Yeah.
And she is fantastic.
She plays creepy well, as Emily said previously. Yeah, she plays creepy, the most creepiest grandma I've ever met. So I'm so glad that I was able to work with her. It was the first time I've ever had a chance to work with Jane. I've known her for years, and to finally get her on set was exciting.
Yeah. So all those dolls, she had those?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay. I was gonna. I was looking at Jane differently, but okay.
Half of them came from Jada, and then the other half are one of the other directors, Mitchell. He kind of collected them from a bunch of random people, and so it was just we end up with all these dolls ranging from the pristine, like Jada's dolls were like her mom's collection, which kind of inspired the movie, and then the other half Mitch just found around, and they're like these decrepit dolls and work perfectly. I still have a good handful of those decrepit dolls in a closet stuffed in my apartment. I wanted to get rid of them, but my 7-year-old daughter was like, no, keep them. They're so cool. And then I have a story, actually, of the first time I had those dolls in my apartment. I went to sleep, and I woke up the next day, and I have this dream catcher that hangs in my living room, and it's on this hook that it cannot come down. And I walk out, and the bag of dolls is right under it, and the dream catcher was on the ground. I know that's not scary to anybody, but to me, I was like, damn, that's...
What are you talking about? That's terrifying.
That's a little creepy. And I put it back up there and tried it out. It's never come down since.
Wow. Yeah, you've been a filmmaker for a really long time. The fact that this is like your first horror thing is pretty crazy. But your stuff has always been like drama focused. You always make these sad movies that make me cry.
Thank you.
Sure. So how hard was it to kind of get into the horror vibe?
I mean, I wrote it the exact same way I write anything else. I wrote from the inside out, from the characters, and so yeah, I didn't find the process any different. It was just trying to find, I guess, the moments, and how to approach those moments the best way I could. Was a little different, but I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you, but yeah, no, the process itself for me was exactly the same.
So talk to me a little bit about the makeup process and how you turn these people into living dolls.
That I'm give all the credit to Sal Hernandez for that. He did a fantastic job. I mean, Jacob, Sal, and I sat down a month or two before we started filming, and I gave my thoughts on how I wanted it to look, and we came up with a plan on how we wanted to execute that. And I mean, these actors set through hours of going through makeup to turn into look like dolls. It was very impressive.
Yeah, it looks really good, and like the cool thing is it looks really expensive, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm glad that it looks expensive. I don't think it was that expensive. So
yeah, going back to the people that worked in the movie, the actresses. So we have Jane Durhaas in this one.
The creepiest grandma alive.
Yeah, like I've never seen her like this.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it working with her?
Oh, she was game from day one to take on this role, and I mean she's just went with everything and was excited to dive deep into that character, and the conversations we had were extraordinary, and just to know that she would try anything and do anything for this character was exciting.
Yeah, I have never seen her like this before.
Yeah.
I've never seen her hold a hammer before.
I know. I never want to see her hold a hammer again.
Never. And then Iris, the main character.
Yeah, Jen Ivy.
How'd you find her?
So she's actually I knew her as a musician first. She's from out of El Paso. She was in a band called the Ivies that we have booked through our I'm part of Corpus Christi Songwriters as well, and booked her for a virtual in the rounds that we did during COVID. And through that, we developed a friendship. And then I realized that she was an actress as well. I saw a reel that she posted online, and I'm like, So when it came to casting this, she was one of the. I reached out to a handful of people, but she really connected to the script, and it really connected to the character. And I'm like, yeah, she blew me away.
Yeah, I had never seen her before, so seeing her pop up in this was pretty awesome because she's really good. She's really good in it.
I didn't know how well she'd handle, because I never worked with her before. This first time I've had her on one of my sets, and I wasn't sure how she was going to handle all the physicality of the role, but she perfect. Yeah.
So you said that Jada kind of inspired this story?
Right. So originally I wrote a script, a completely different movie for this, but I was told it's going to be too expensive to make. So they're like, yeah, you should probably do something else. So I went back to this a few months before. Jada was telling me about how her mom started collecting dolls that kind of resembled her maybe after she moved out. And I was like, that's a little creepy. So I wrote this as a joke, just this synopsis of this fake movie. And when they told me to go back to the drawing board, I looked at that. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's not as fun as I thought it was. It's actually pretty creepy. So it went from joke to reality pretty quickly.
Yeah, and here we are, the final episode, and kind of creeped everybody out. So that's good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, what are you working on now?
I've got a few things down the pipeline.
You always do.
Yeah. Jacob and I actually just did a Corpus Christi 7-day film project. So, came out, I guess, a couple months now at this point. But yeah, excited about that. My friend Amadeus also helped break the story on Porcelain. And we're slowly in the process of writing a feature film kind of, we call it a stoner comedy meets an H.P. Lovecraft cosmic horror. So we'll see how that turns out. But that's, I've got a Western I'm working on. All these, I always have like at least 5 things that I'm writing at once, and then maybe I'll finish one of them. We'll see.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah, your episode was fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
And the bad thing is like I can't pick my favorite because they're all really well done.
That's the best thing about this whole series, this whole process, this whole journey, is working with these people. And legitimately, I love that the first episode was Jacob, and it's called Welcome to the Family, and we all kind of worked on it together. And since we have become family, so it's just I'm so happy to be a part of it.
Tell people where they can find you and your music, because you're a musician also.
Yeah, I'm on social media under Jimmy Willden with 2 L's, and yeah, just Facebook, Instagram. I think that's about it. Yeah, or my main thing is like if you want to find me, you can find me through Corpus Christi Songwriters. That's where I'm most visible these days.
Okay, that's all I got.
Cool.
Thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you for talking to me about dead things.
Dead things. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.